Okay. Okay. So, there's a few things I want to talk about. I know the spoilers are out. People are telling me the spoilers are out. Uh, and yeah, I'm gonna try to avoid spoiler. Okay, don't even joke about spoilers. Don't even joke about spoilers. I'm not kidding. Do not even joke about spoilers. I'm not fucking with you guys here. Don't you're already getting a warning. Yeah, I'm not gonna ban you or anything, but don't even fucking joke about spoilers. All right. Cool. Cool. Um. Hmm. What was I gonna say? Okay, so there's a few things I noticed. There's a few wacky things I noticed. In particular, um. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna ask you as a question. I'm just do like a quick thing here. Where is it? Uh, here. No. Start or Okay, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna do a poll, and you guys tell me which one you prefer. Okay. In the meantime, while you guys answer this, I'm gonna pull some stuff up that I need. Okay, I'm gonna move this here. Okay. Where should you drop an Umi backstory so he can gain sympathy from the readers, like how Ruka's gained diehard supporters? I don't think you really understand how Reiji writes if that's how you're interpreting it. Like even Mommy's backstory wasn't to really give her any form of sympathy. It was more so to contextualize Mommy's actions and so you understand her pain. It what made Mommy's backstory and what makes almost all the characters' backstories in this story so effective is that they don't really give them sympathy. Rather, you connect to them as people, and at the same time, you start understanding their actions significantly more. Like mommy is brilliant for that exact reason because you feel really bad for her. Like you could say that's sympathy if you want, but it does not justify her actions whatsoever. It doesn't justify her actions. You merely understand them. So I just I think that also misses the point of Umi's character if that's how you're gonna look at it. I feel like that also misses the point of Umi's character because he's not really like a main character. Like Sumi still doesn't have a backstory, right? What's up, Johan? How have you been? I see mommy doesn't deserve happiness after what she did in the Hawaiians because that was just cruel. I adamantly despise statements like that. This idea that nobody deserves happiness because I've seen people do genuinely heinous shit and nobody's out here saying they don't deserve happiness, but these characters who do shitty things that are not irredeemable, everyone's like they don't deserve happiness. So no, I adamantly disagree with this idea that mommy doesn't deserve happiness just because she did some genuinely heinous and evil shit. That doesn't mean she can't be redeemed because you have characters like Kratos quite literally committing a fucking genocide and everyone's like, "Oh, he deserves happiness." You know, he's redeeming himself, he's changing. And that's because in that moment you're angry, you're frustrated, and you want to lash out. But the moment you start seeing them change and want to become different people, your attitude changes too. And that's a very common thing. People are angry in the moment, and they're not really connecting and thinking about the characters. And I think that's why my perspective on so much of this story is different from most people. There is a fundamental disassociation from a lot of people who engage with this story from the characters, which allows them to hate. Hatred is really, really easy when you're not like actually connecting to someone. Rather, in my opinion, there's like a true hatred where it's like you understand and you still hate it. That's a little more like, okay, your hatred is justified. To me, Mommy's character, I don't hate her. I don't hate anybody in this story. I think every single character in this story is just trying to find their happiness and their fuck ups, and that makes them human and interesting. And I saw this a lot with like when looking back at like Expedition 33, for example. Like a lot of people hate certain characters in that story, but that's what makes them compelling and interesting. And that's why I like them. Like there's a lot of characters in that story. People really fucking hate them because they make choices people just cannot understand or don't like. And I'm like, I may not like this character as like my favorite character, but I completely understand and I almost sympathize with them, even though I don't agree with their choice whatsoever. I can understand Mami and Ruka, but if Reiji gives Umi a backstory, that's just red flag questioning him. Why put? Okay, look, Wiz, you have a tendency to do a lot of generalizations with your criticism of the stories. Nor do you really seem to like actually criticize a narrative. You're just like, I just question your choice. I just question your choice, and that's just kind of like the running gag between me and you. It's like you're questioning Reiji's choice, and I sit here and explain it to you, and then you keep questioning it, and then the loop continues for fucking ever. Sumi basically doesn't belong in the chaotic contents of this story. She's quite literally has to belong. Sumi to me is the kind of character who, in many ways, is a character that does not face the chaotic stuff, and in turn, she's ill-prepared for it. Sumi, in many ways, is a character that is truly going through a coming-of-age story where you say she doesn't belong. She absolutely fucking belongs. And that's the thing. She needs to understand her own strengths in that sense. Whereas, like, she needs to be put in these scenarios that fucking suck, to learn how to grow up a little bit. Because unfortunately, what you don't realize is that Sumi is written as this like really innocent character. But that's the thing. A lot of characters who are written as innocent eventually must come to terms with their innocence, and that you have to grow up a little bit, and you can't just be innocent forever. You can and you can embrace your innocence. Like you don't have to deny it or destroy it, but you do have to come to terms with it. Anyways, I honestly want to understand the complex emotions that run through the characters because it's fascinating how they all develop and grow to be better versions of themselves or someone that doesn't change for the better. This is the whole reason I'm drawn to the manga. Reiji truly is the best writer in my eyes. Well, that's the thing. What makes Mami's character at the moment so brilliant is that she's in many ways kind of in denial. And that perfectly plays into the theme of grief, where Mami refuses to really come to terms with her own actions. She doesn't want to confront her own actions. Mami would rather choose love and essentially use love as a kind of escape mechanism rather than actually confront what she fucking did. But in order for Mami to truly transform and change, she must confront what she did. And I think a lot of people, by Reiji's design, almost kind of forgot what Mami did because she's looking cuter and cuter and cuter by the minute. So you're just kind of forgetting what she did. And Reiji is literally actively leveraging that with a lot of characters. He'll present them as cute, charming, adorable, or something along those lines, and you just kind of stop thinking about the fact that they maybe just did something kind of bad. Ruka is very much kind of that. The difference between Ruka and Mami is that Ruka does not realize she did something bad. Mami knows. Mami fucking knows that she did something heinous, but she doesn't want to come to terms with it because coming to terms with it means she may lose this thing that she really, really wants to have. Do you always have two desk chairs? So this chair that I'm sitting in is old as fuck. I've had this thing since like before 2020. It is like it is 6 years old. This thing is 6 years fucking old. I don't know how the fuck it's still functioning. This poor bastard. This is my brand new chair. The reason I slightly prefer this chair, the reason I sit in this chair sometimes, the reason I slightly prefer this chair is because it has more room, so I can kind of lean back and like put my legs up a little bit. That chair is like more of a proper office desk chair, so I use that shit to work. Like when I gotta work, I use that shit to work. Anyways. What I was saying is the difference between Ruka and Mami's characters is that Ruka is not fully aware of her choices, and so Ruka falls a little more in line with a proper coming of age story, whereas Mami is like, Mami essentially needs to kind of go the. Mami essentially maybe needs to go more under like the hero's journey. I think every character in the story has like a coming of age narrative. It's just like for Ruka, where she is right now, and it's supposed to be a direct parallel to Kazuya, is the death of innocence. She essentially has to come to terms with a cruel reality that she's not gonna fucking like, and that's gonna make her truly grow up. As you're seeing right now with the story, Ruka is essentially pretending like she's grown up. Ruka is pretending like she's all grown up. I think Reiji is building towards Ruka actually having to come to terms with the cruel reality that she is in, but also the cruelty of her own actions and what she's been doing. And that in turn reflects her own coming of age story. Now, okay, sounds like everybody wants me to do, or most people want me to do, Kazuya's false hero's journey. Okay, so how do I explain this? Okay, let's start with chapter 385. We're gonna start with chapter 385. I'm gonna list to you guys the hero's journey as well as a coming of age narrative. So those two somewhat intertwine. Somewhat intertwine, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Yeah, like this is gonna be a what the fuck moment for you guys, so just bear with me. So the hero's journey, or actually sorry, let's start with a coming of age narrative. So coming of age narratives start in a very particular way. So they essentially have kind of like 6 steps. So let me go through the 6 steps with you guys. Step 1, an adventure, a call to adventure, and leaving home. What's happening right now? Kazuya is leaving home. Okay? Let's go to the next chapter. Okay. Step 2, an encounter with death. Now, in this case, there's no literal death, but I believe the encounter with death takes place in 2 specific areas. One, it's right here. In this particular location with Minnie, where Minnie tells him, it wasn't that serious. What you just happened wasn't that serious. Okay? The second place Kazuya encounters death is right here. The boyfriend and the panic. Kazuya gets a call from Umi, and he freaks. He's just like, holy shit. And suddenly Kazuya is scared. And he has to do something. He's worried. He's like, oh, this is the death of the journey, don't you think? Isn't this technically the death of the journey? So, the step 3, a mentor figure. What has Minnie been this entire time? What has Minnie been this whole time? What is Minnie doing? Minnie is a mentor figure / a helper, right? That's pretty much what Minnie's been doing this whole fucking time. Step 4, a conflict with a parental figure. Now, this has... Where is it? Kazuya gets a call from his dad, who tells him he needs to go to driving school. Step 5, the loss of innocence. What is happening here? And finally, self-discovery and change in physical appearance return home. Okay, now this is a bit out of order, and it's because there's a reason I said this is a false hero's journey. Because his hero's journey is utterly in fucking shambles. His hero's journey is utterly in fucking shambles. We're not looping, we're spiraling. We're not looping, we're spiraling. It is the illusion of a loop. It keeps giving you the impression of a loop. Right? What happened in the current chapter? What happened in the current chapter? I'm going to quote Ruka. What does she say before Umi gets here? I'm going to carry on as usual. As in, I'm going to go back to normal. As in, we're gonna loop back. Except there is no looping back. This is going to constantly give you the illusion that we're looping. We're not looping, it is a spiral. In particular, the spiral of grief. Now, okay, Kazuya's hero's journey is in fucking shambles. I would say chapter 398 is kind of the part in the hero's journey where Kazuya is experiencing like his loss of innocence here, where he's like what he understood is possibly wrong, and he's scared that his interpretation of the world is incorrect. And then there's a big thing I want you guys to know. The final step in the coming of age part of the stories, in the coming of age story, is when the character goes through a sense of self-discovery, their physical appearance literally changes. So, from chapter, this is how I'll explain it. It's gonna be a little confusing, but bear with me. From chapter 386 to 399, Kazuya underwent a hero's journey, or a coming-of-age story. And because what just happened here is that Kazuya thought he underwent a hero's journey, or a coming-of-age story. And his physical appearance changed, as if to signify he is suddenly a different person. Remember when people were like coming up with all sorts of wacky theories about Reiji being this cuckoo crazy dude who self-inserted himself into the story, and that's the reason Kazuya is so confident now? It's because he didn't. The reality is, Kazuya thought he underwent some sort of transformation, became a different person, truly self-discovered, and knew who he was. And there's a big thing about the end of the coming-of-age narrative. The character returns home with a newfound perspective and understanding. Kazuya literally goes home, and it's on his birthday. And he acts like he's under control. He acts like he knows what he's doing. But what happens here? Another conflict with a parental figure arises. And it's almost like Kazuya didn't actually undergo the hero's journey yet. The entire hero's journey he thought he underwent was just a big fucking lie. And now the hero's journey is actually seemingly starting, and he doesn't even know. He doesn't even know he's actually starting the new hero's journey, or a proper coming-of-age hero's journey. Because right after this, suddenly all the actual steps kind of start happening. What do I mean by this? First thing that happens, step 1. He leaves home, and he has an encounter with death. What is mommy? A dead relationship. Wait, what is mommy exactly? Right? Literally a dead relationship. Okay. He gets a call from Ruka, and Kazuya's mentor figure is gone. There's a part in the coming of age narrative where the mentor figure leaves or dies, and the character essentially gets challenged to have to do this shit themselves. And guess what? What happened right now? Where is Kazuya right now? Minnie's gone. There's no Minnie. She exited the story. Minnie quite literally exited the story. Now Kazuya actually has to do this himself. So you could argue that Kazuya is at the stage of the loss of innocence at this point, right? Where his mentor figure is gone. He had his conflict with his parent, and this is kind of where this is. And then he goes to Ruka. I would argue Ruka in some ways is also going through her coming of age story, where she's also experiencing a form of death and a loss of innocence, where she has to come to the terms with the cruel reality she's a part of. He's going to have to fight his own battles. Exactly. That's a huge part of the hero's journey and the coming of age narrative, where there's a part where the character essentially loses all of their safety ropes. No one can help you anymore. You have to do it yourself. And this is where they really get tested. And let me pull up the hero's journey. So in the hero's journey, it's a loop. Fitting. It's a loop. A call to adventure, supernatural aid, threshold guardian, threshold, beginning of transformation, helper, mentor, challenges and temptation, the abyss. So Kazuya, I think at this point, is somewhat reaching the abyss, where he's falling into a form of death and rebirth, where the whole thing with Ruka was essentially supposed to be that, and it wasn't. And so I think what's going to happen with Umi might be kind of that trigger where like the deep fall happens. And then that's where the transformation, atonement, and the return happens, where Kazuya eventually, like basically what if we go by the hero's journey, Kazuya is eventually going to return home. And by home, I mean go back to Chizuru's place. And so essentially Kazuya is literally undergoing a hero's journey. Or a coming-of-age narrative. And both of them end in the character returning home, right? I'm outraged that no one shows up to Kazuya's birthday. Okay. You were given, like, very specific reasons as to why they didn't, so stay mad. So that's what I mean. Kazuya is essentially undergoing a false hero's journey or a false coming-of-age narrative, where he gives you the illusion he transformed. He didn't. He didn't actually transform. He didn't become a different person. Rather, it looks like he took all the steps, when in reality, every single thing he did was just a big illusion, right? Every single thing he did was just a big illusion. Kazuya didn't actually transform. He didn't become a different person. He's still the same Kazuya. He just thought he transformed. So everything you experienced until Kazuya changed his hair is just this illusion that he became a different person, that he underwent the hero's journey, and then now he's now off on his own path. He became the adult already, right? He already transitioned from adulthood to childhood, from childhood to adulthood. In reality, he didn't. Kazuya merely has the illusion of an adult. He's not actually an adult. He didn't actually become an adult. And a big thing that I want to point out with the mentor figure when it comes to the coming of age narrative. The mentor figure eventually has to exit the coming of age narrative for a very specific reason. They're actually holding the main character back. What have we been saying about Minnie this whole fucking time? What have we been saying about Minnie this whole fucking time? She's literally holding Kazuya back. She's literally in the fucking way. She's holding him back. He's not able to reach his full potential because she's in the fucking way. Like, I think I was like writing about this. Yeah, it's like so like in a sense, you could say Kazuya is a false or inverted hero's journey. And the reason I say this is because Kazuya in many ways already underwent a hero's journey, but this is like a false hero's journey where he thinks he's undergoing one. In reality, he isn't. And rather, maybe you could say where Kazuya is right now is the mentor is gone or the helper is gone and he has to do this himself. And he thinks he's ready. He's not ready. And he's gonna be met with this like insane conflict. And then that's gonna be like the turning point, the big drop before he gets his shit together. So let's see. Kazuya leaves home, he has a mentor, he has a goal, and he even has a rival. And yet, all of that is fiction and real in many ways. Kazuya already left home at the start of the story. The home he left here was not the one he needed to leave, and yet it was a paradise. In some ways, completely false, and something he did in fact need to leave. Kazuya's journey is intertwined with a coming-of-age journey, which he also already experienced in many ways. Kazuya is living through an illusionary world. Nothing is as he understands it. It's as if he is going through a reversed version of the hero's journey in the coming-of-age narrative, and so in turn realizes he was living in a fantasy. Minnie is holding Kazuya back. Just like a mentor, she's in many ways fits the archetypal role of a mentor. Minnie in many ways fits the archetypal role of a mentor. Kazuya will never fulfill his full potential as long as Minnie is around. Chizuru believes she is the one who needs to leave because she thinks she's the one in the parental mentor role. In reality, she's not. She thinks she needs to step away so Kazuya can do that. In reality, she's not the problem. Minnie is. What Kazuya is falling in love with is his own. Sorry, I miswrote here. Right. So what Kazuya needs to do here is in many ways kind of realize what he wants and rediscovering his own family and his love for them. Because he's been fundamentally detached from his family. So he needs to realize what he loves and what he wants. And that's essentially part of his hero's journey coming of age narrative. And another thing is that, so with a coming of age narrative, Reishi does something kind of brilliant here with Ruka's character. With a coming of age narrative, a child, because coming of age is transitioning from childhood to adulthood, usually the child comes in contact with the adult world, and what happens is they come to realize, like, they experience like betrayal, they experience cruelty, they get hurt in some way, and that destroys their innocence, or it loses their innocence, and they learn what it means to be an adult and realize that the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. It's so thematically fucking brilliant that the person that invokes this confrontation with the cruel reality in that step in the hero's journey is not an actual adult, but a child. A child forces Kazuya to start confronting the reality of adulthood, not an adult. Reishi cooked. The fact that he takes this part of the coming of age journey and has That's what I mean. It's literally like a false or inverted hero's journey, or sorry, coming of age narrative. It's kind of both. It's kind of both. It's a hero's journey / coming of age narrative. And it's so brilliant. It's like an inverted version of it, where Kazuya is essentially undergoing the hero's journey coming of age narrative, but because he already underwent it, it's like almost playing in like in opposites. It's playing in the reverse of how you understand it should be playing, where it's not going in the correct steps, or it is following the steps, but they're happening in reverse of how they should be happening. It's almost like you're completely misunderstanding the events around you, which is brilliant because basically every single part of the story up until this point has been a fucking illusion, at least after the 3-month time skip. After the 3-month time skip, everything you experienced has just been a big fucking illusion. So, naturally, instead of an adult invoking the loss of innocence, it is a child. A child invokes the loss of innocence, and in turn is trying to give up her innocence and doesn't realize what that actually fucking means. In that same way, I'm becoming more and more certain that Umi falls in line with this inverted nature of the hero's journey or the coming of age narrative, where he's not what we think he is. And we're not going to realize that until a little bit further, that Umi doesn't fall in line with this idea of a rival or the antagonistic figure, merely that he looks like one. He looks like the antagonistic figure. He looks like the thing that'll trigger the loss of innocence, but the loss of innocence quite literally already happened right here. You just think Umi's going to trigger it. In reality, it already happened. They just need to come to terms with it, because that is a part of the hero's journey where there's a part where the characters essentially refuse to accept what just happened. Just as, for example, they refuse the beginning of the journey, or they refuse the return, where they return home. This is pretty much that with the characters, where they're essentially refusing to accept what just fucking happened. They're in denial of what they just experienced. So let's see. So yeah, now I'm gonna go to chapter 407. I have some new analysis for it. This is basically expanding on what I said before. So think of this as just expanding on what I said before. Am I wrong? What? About what? Last few chapters abridged. Kazuya, I need an adult. Ruka, I am an adult. So correct that slightly. Kazuya, I need an adult. He's the adult. Ruka, I am an adult. She's not an adult. And I get it. It's a fucking reference to fucking Dragon Ball Z abridged. I am an adult. No, you're not. No, you're not. You also missed that part. Gohan literally says that. Nope. No, you're not. Let's see. The problem with Kazuya and Minnie is simple. You can ask for somebody's opinion, that's fine, but you need to seriously mull it over, which Kazuya never does. He takes his truth and runs with it. Again, that's the whole point of a mentor role. A mentor role within a story, or the helper, is this person who acts as a safety net for you. They essentially, like, they're your crutch. They're a crutch. You go to them because it's comfortable, because they help you deal with the problem, so you don't actually have to fully process and understand what you're experiencing. I know. Expedition 33, for those who have played it, perfectly plays into this. It also quite literally has an inverted hero's journey. It also quite literally also has an inverted hero's journey. And I'm not going to spoil it. I recommend you go and play Expedition 33. It's a really good fucking game. But that story also has a mentor figure in the story who, in many ways, the main character is somewhat using as a crutch. And they're not dealing with their problems. And once that mentor figure is somewhat removed, they have to learn how to deal with their issues. And in many ways, they kind of can't, and they spiral, and they also feel like at some point they kind of got themselves together. And there's a lot of this element of illusions all throughout the game where the character looks like they have transformed and become this like different person, but so much of the game is like fucking with your interpretation of the hero's journey and how you understand it. So I don't want to spoil it. I'm gonna stop here, but I do recommend you give Expedition 33 a try. If we want to talk spoilers, just let me know and we'll like signal that there's spoilers. I think Umi was just waiting for the right moment to strike. Now, whether he goes good or bad is another mystery. For me, he seems harmless and is just someone who wants to be included. I don't know. I don't really agree with that. Umi in many ways is the signal of true conflict. Umi is in many ways the representation of true conflict that needs to occur. And so Umi showing up right as Kazuya and Ruka are seemingly in fucking denial, it is absolutely the point. He needs to fucking show up at this point because the characters are totally in denial. They are existing in an alternate, like, reality where they don't really want to deal with their problems. And the thing is, Ruka and Kazuya parallel each other in that way. Both of them don't want to deal with their fucking problems. So they let themselves exist in this, like, alternate reality where what happened wasn't a bad thing. Nor do they fully want to confront what just happened. They're content living in an illusion, you know? So Kazuya's first crush is gone. That being Minnie. So Crutch 1 is gone. Crutch 1 is absolutely fucking gone. Kazuya has a Crutch 2. Crutch 2 is his refusal to confront what happened and be honest with himself with what just happened. And that means, like, accepting what he just experienced because he doesn't want to. And that is, in fact, a part of the coming-of-age narrative as well as the hero's journey, where the character falls into denial and they're spiraling and they don't know how to deal with these issues and they're willfully unprepared. Kazuya, in this point, is willfully unprepared. He's at that part of the hero's journey where, like I just explained, the mentor is gone and you have to deal with shit yourself. You have no helper, you have no mentor, and the challenges are going to keep coming and coming and coming and coming, and you have to be able to deal with this shit. And so Kazuya is at that point where he's going to be tested, where it's like, okay, how can you deal with this conflict now that you don't have a safety net anymore? And the story is essentially forcing him to deal with these conflicts. Which now brings me to what I believe, and I think I finally understand, is the point of this chapter. So I talked about how chapter 406 is the lack of resolution to any conflict. That is how we ended the year, and that is how we started the year. We started the year with this introduction of conflict. But if you remember last year, the chapter we started with had no resolution to the conflict. It merely introduced a silly conflict that wasn't a big deal, right? So what I'm referring to is, you guys can go back to my earlier stream when we were talking about 406. The first chapter of 2025 was chapter, what is it? It's like chapter 360 something or 350 something. And it's when Kazuya and Chizuru are in the at that like breakfast place called Bill's, and Kazuya accidentally drinks from Chizuru's water, and he makes this huge fucking deal about it when it's not a big fucking deal. In contrast, how do we end the year? Real meaningful conflict, but just like that chapter, no resolution to that conflict. It shouldn't be 58, it should be 59. It should be 59. 58 was the last chapter of 2024. 59 should be the first chapter of this year. Or sorry, not this year, 2025. So, how do we start this year? We ended last year with the introduction of real conflict and a very skewed perspective of Ruka's character. we start this chapter with Ruka's legs, again, being emphasized. But they're hidden now. So it's almost like you don't really see her vulnerability, right? You just see her legs, but you don't see like what's underneath the skirt, right? How did the arc start? How did this arc start? When Ruka was at Kazuya's house, he's looking at her skirt. So now we're seemingly getting a different angle, if you will. We had a very particular angle of how we were supposed to be looking at things. Now we have a slightly different angle. Ruka runs down. Flashback. She's breathing heavy, and she's blushing. She looks at her phone, and it's 97. Wait, so the phone was relevant this whole time? And then Ruka seems exhausted, but she's in shadows. And the first thing you see or hear is her thoughts. What Reiji is doing here is we're going to begin the new year by introducing perspective. We're starting the new year by introducing perspective. Now, you've interpreted this entire situation in a very particular way. You thought Ruka was this adult who had her shit together and she was really smart. You thought this thing with her heartbeat didn't matter anymore. And all of a sudden, not only does the heartbeat thing still matter, but Ruka looks really different. In fact, she seems a lot more overwhelmed than we thought she was. Ruka looked like she was under control this whole time. And yet here she is, the opposite of under control. She doesn't seem like this scary, menacing girl anymore. Suddenly, Ruka feels almost like the victim. Right? From a different perspective, from a different lens, Ruka almost looks like the victim here. And you're just like, wait, what? And what does Reiji proceed to do? He starts giving us the one thing we did not have this entire time with Ruka. Her thoughts. The one thing we were denied with Ruka this entire time, the thing that made her so scary, so menacing, so uncomfortable, was the fact that we didn't hear what she was thinking. And that is the very first thing he gives us in the beginning of this year. Not pro-Ruka propaganda, rather recontextualizing the events. You have interpreted Ruka in a very particular way up until this point because of what she's done, how she's looked, how you've understood her. You thought she was under control. You thought she was a lot more dangerous than she appeared. You thought Ruka was this kid who wasn't actually a kid. She actually did grow up. She's like scary and stuff. But then suddenly when you see this, you start getting a little bit more contextualization as to what's been going on with Ruka. Suddenly, the forced nature of what she was doing makes some sense because it is forced. She's still following the heartbeat thing. It's almost like Ruka is just as trapped as Kazuya is. And you are getting this perspective of her where she feels like a really weak little girl, in contrast to how she felt very strong and enforceful of her will. She seemed really certain of herself when she was interacting with Kazuya, and yet here, this is the opposite of certain of herself. And she says, I'm at my limit. As if she was doing all of this, but she was not in control. And the fact that she's hitting a limit is a big deal. So all of this is about changing perspective. You thought you understood what was happening. You don't. And what Rishi's doing is by introducing this information, he's essentially telling you, okay, you're probably still not going to get it, but what I'm giving you here is the one thing you were denied. Context. Pieces of context. Not the full context, but context. Right? How did we start the arc? How did we start the arc? Like, literally, just think about this for a fucking second. I'm going to show it to you. It's chapter 401. How did we start the arc?
What do you see Ruka do? She calls Kazuya. She wants to meet up. He agrees to meet up. We go and see Ruka. Like right now, she doesn't have her ribbon. She does a whole bunch of stuff that gives you the impression she's like this horny teenager who wants to do this thing. You don't hear her thoughts whatsoever when she's doing all of this. And then in the very end, you hear her say, I'd like to try sex. What are you not given here this entire time, even in the very end? Her thoughts. You hear her words. You see her actions. You're not hearing her thoughts. We come full circle. How do we start the new year? With the one thing we didn't hear, Ruka's thoughts. Ruka says, oh my God, her heart is still beating. She's freaking the fuck out. Suddenly, Ruka isn't in complete control of what she's doing. She's actually scared as fuck. Now, we did get a visual of this. We saw that Ruka was like scared in a very particular scene, and Kazuya was worried about scarring her. It was right here in chapter 403. But to us, Ruka just abused that, right? She's like, don't go. You feel bad for her, and she abuses that. Okay? Now, let's get a different contextualization of what Ruka thought. She thought what she did was normal. She thinks what she did was normal. And at the same time, she wasn't even fully processing it. So all of a sudden, you're like, wait, she doesn't realize what she did was really fucked up. She literally doesn't know what she just did. And this isn't simply, like, this isn't an excuse. This isn't an excuse, but it shows, oh, this is a kid. She doesn't know what she's doing. She thinks what she did is normal. It's not normal, and she needs to be told what she just did is really fucking bad. But she doesn't realize this. And because Kazuya didn't communicate that to her, she's not gonna fucking know. She's not gonna know what she did was bad. She had a feeling what she did was bad. Ruka has this like underlying feeling underneath that maybe what she did was bad. Because Kazuya clearly didn't react very well, especially when he said, we should talk. We should talk is not a good sign. Whenever someone says, we should talk, that is not a good sign. Like, that always gets you fucking scared. You know? So, Ruka had the impression she did something wrong, but then, seemingly Kazuya didn't say what she did was outright wrong. He's just denying what happened. So that just makes her angry. Because he's just denying the reality. And suddenly she doesn't know how to feel. So Ruka says, I couldn't stand to be there for a second longer. I think I said some really embarrassing stuff. She doesn't even know what she said. She was saying that in the moment. She wasn't even fully processing what she just said. I still need to process everything. I feel like I'm stuck in a daze. She's literally out of it. She was saying stuff, but she just wanted to get out because it was so suffocating. She thinks she needed to get out because she was too overwhelmed. What she doesn't realize is that a part of it was that it was how Kazuya was handling the situation. And that made her feel overwhelmed. And it's literally like, when you're getting told, oh, Ruka is like not fully in control of herself here. She doesn't fully process what she's doing and what she's thinking. Suddenly you get a new perspective. Oh, this character who appeared completely in control of that entire situation wasn't at all. So why the fuck was Kazuya not able to handle that very well? That's weird. I went there fully prepared to have sex, but after touching him for a while, he got aroused, and then... So, I talked to Crumpy here about this particular scene, and he told me, again, Ruka does not say sex here, she says ecchi. She says ecchi to imply sex. Now, I've told you guys before when we were reading the previous chapters, every single scene where Ruka says sex in English, she actually doesn't. She uses a euphemism. She says ecchi and like strings words along to imply sex. She doesn't actually straight up say sex. Because Ruka doesn't even fully know what sex is. She's telling herself, I was fully prepared, but she doesn't even know what that is. She thinks she knows what sex is. She doesn't. And so the more information you're given, the more you come to realize, oh, this kid is absolutely out of her depth. She has no fucking clue what she's doing. She doesn't understand what she just experienced at all. And you see that in her dialogue here. After touching him for a while, he got aroused, and then I ended up taking a screenshot. Right? Like I feel like when and if they get to this part of this anime, or in the anime, Ruka's gonna be talking like this. Like, oh, that happened. Oh, well, I knocked that out. Whoops. Yeah, Ruka is literally like talking like she's out of it, her heart's beating, and she's just like, oh, yeah, that happened. Oh, and that happened. Oh. But what does that mean? You know, it's like she doesn't know what that means. Right? Literally, he got aroused, and then like she knows like Kazuya just like, you know, orgasmed, if you will, but just doesn't know like what that is or how to say it. It's so clear she's out of her depth and how she's talking. I ended up taking a screenshot. It was 97. I've never seen it so high. Before I met him, the highest it got was around 70. This is all thanks to him. It must be him, right? Every single thing she's saying is absolute misattributing. She's misattributing things. Misattributation. I think I said it right. I wonder what would happen to me if it reached 100. She holds the phone close to her heart. Like literally, she holds a machine, not an actual thing, a machine close to her heart. She remembers Kazuya's face, and she blushes. Kazuya-kun was so cute. Wait, what? Like, to us, when we're reading this, we're like, wait, that wasn't cute. Why does she think that was... Wow, our perception of events are completely different from hers, right? So again, perspective. Your perception of the events of what happened are completely different from her perception of events. They're not the same whatsoever. What she interpreted as cute, we thought was weird. She says, I don't know guys could get like that. He just felt so, in Japanese, she says defenseless. He felt so defenseless. Now, there you go. There's another... what's happening here is, in many ways, Ruka is experiencing a lot of first times. She's experiencing a lot of first times, just not the first time she wanted. Right? Everything she's experiencing is a first for her, just not the first she wanted. Right? So Kazuya was defenseless around her. She's never seen him like that before. Kazuya's always kept his guard up around her. He's always been like very careful around Ruka. And then here he is, not that at all. And Ruka doesn't know how to feel about that, right? It's like, oh, he felt so defenseless, so open. And it's almost like she's misattributing that with trust, right? Because Kazuya being defenseless around her, it doesn't mean he willingly let himself be defenseless. She doesn't know. Kazuya had no control in that moment. Like, she doesn't really know what was going on through Kazuya here. It's just, to her, he's never been like that around her. So she's like seeing this new side of him, and she's getting to experience something new. And because she's getting to experience something new, that's what she's focused on. She's focused on this new first time experience and what that means to her. And she's not really processing, oh, what did that mean to Kazuya? And it's because Ruka, it's not just Ruka being selfish. It's not Ruka being selfish. It's Ruka not knowing how to really have a relationship. Ruka doesn't really know how to have a relationship, and the problem with her and Kazuya's relationship is so much of it almost pushes you to be selfish. The nature of Kazuya and Ruka's relationship pushes you to be selfish. So naturally, what they focus on is what they experienced, because the other person wants to deny what they experienced, right? So Ruka is seemingly in denial of Kazuya's feelings, Kazuya is seemingly in denial of her feelings. So naturally, all she focuses on is what she felt, and she doesn't know what he felt because he's not communicating that to her. So she doesn't know. And she thinks in that moment, it was like he forgot all about Chizuru's son. He didn't forget about her. He was literally not in control of his body. And Ruka is happy about this because it's like, now reframe this. Reframe what she just said. It's like I was his sole focus. It's like I finally got his attention. For once, he wasn't thinking about her, he was thinking about me. It's like a kid that finally got their parents' attention. It's like a little kid that finally got their parents' attention. What people don't realize is that Ruka's character is very deeply rooted in her childhood, and surprisingly, she's not an easy character to understand. She's not spelled out for you, just as Chizuru and Mami aren't really spelled out for you. You think you understand like the depth of their characters. You understand aspects of their characters. You don't fully understand them. Ruka is very much the same way here. This is a kid who just finally got the attention of the person they deeply respect and love. And they're not getting it the way she wanted, but she's finally getting it in some way. So she's happy about that. She's like, oh my God, for once he's not paying attention to, think of it like this. It's like, let's make it like almost like a sibling thing where Kazuya is like the dad, Ruka is his kid, and Chizuru is the older sister, and the older sister is like the one who always has the parents' attention. So the parents always pay attention to her and not to Ruka. And she finally, for some reason, in that moment, got his attention instead of Chizuru. That's almost how her brain is kind of processing it. I finally got his attention. She remembers, I'm okay with being second, and suddenly she turns cat mode. This fundamentally contradicts this. This is what she really wants. She wants his attention. She wants him to focus solely on her. But she doesn't want to lose him, so she'll say something stupid like this that she doesn't actually believe. He didn't deny anything about his relationship with Chizuru's son, that they must still be involved with each other. But so she's right. This is good deduction, right? So when she's met with this adversity of what she said, suddenly she starts thinking straight, right? So up until this point, Ruka is not really thinking straight, but here, like, you see this contrast between Ruka actually having like good deduction skills and Ruka being controlled by her feelings and what she actually deeply wants, which is attention and affection. She just wants to be noticed. But if they ever got together for real, then I don't think she would be willing to ignore me. So are they not a couple yet? She thinks, don't tell Mizuhara about today. Gets bugged again. Goes cat mode again. What? I don't like that he said that. I don't like that I said that. If I told her about it, I wonder what would happen, right? So every time you see Ruka's response informs how she felt in regards to this, right? So here she says, I'm okay with being second. Clearly, she's not, right? She starts talking about her chances. What does she say? Think carefully. He didn't deny anything about his relationship with Chizuru's son. They must still be involved with each other. So it's like, okay, I am still second, but if they ever got together for real, she would tell me. So they didn't. So that means I still have a chance. I still have a bit of hope. It's literally her trying to hold on to hope. She's using deductive reasoning to hold on to hope, to justify her feelings. When he tells her, don't tell Mizuhara about today, what happens? If I told her about it, I wonder what would happen. I bet she would. I bet even she would be shocked. Would I have a chance then? Suddenly, it's starting to click. Ruka is starting to remember what she wants. This is what's happening here. Ruka has been living in fiction this whole time. She's been denying what she wants this entire fucking time, which is that she wants to be with him. That's the fucking truth. It's not that she doesn't want to be second. She's told herself for the past couple, like since the 3 months, she's told herself she's okay with being second. Now Ruka is slowly but surely coming to the realization, oh, I don't want to be second. I want something real. And what's happening here is that what Ruka's had with Kazuya this entire time is starting to crash in its face. Everything she's had with Kazuya up until now, it's starting to crash on its face. And what I mean by that is that Ruka has literally been second this entire fucking time. From the moment her relationship started, she's been second. And she's starting to really dislike that. She's starting to really, really dislike being second. She doesn't want to be second anymore. She wants to be the real thing. She's tired of the loop. She's tired of living in the second shadow, right? And living in Chizuru's shadow. She doesn't want to be second anymore. She wants to be the real thing. I wasn't lying about how I felt. No matter how their relationship progresses, I don't ever want to leave Kazuya-kun. Okay? So she's not lying. She doesn't want to leave. But she clearly doesn't really want to be second. Right? You're seeing this clash. You're literally seeing this clash. On one hand, I don't want to leave him. I wasn't lying about how I felt. But clearly, you're not okay being second. You want to be first. Right? You keep clinging on to that hope that you're going to be first. And I don't think she really knows what she means about being second. Again, just like she doesn't understand sex, Ruka doesn't understand what being second actually means in this picture. Because it will gut her. It will fucking gut her. But if I'm lucky, could I really do such a thing, though? He loves Chizuru-san. If I force them to break up, he could end up hating me. That would completely defeat the purpose of doing it, outright rejecting me. Okay. So she's met with a choice. Okay, then. You could get them to break up, or you don't. What do? Picks up her phone, tries to call Chizuru. She remembers Kazuya says, yeah, I want to. Okay, so he clearly has feelings for her. This is interesting. In this scene, there's a bit of hypocrisy happening. And what do I mean by this? Earlier, Ruka seemingly just ignored Kazuya's feelings in favor of her own. And she doesn't really process how she did that. And yet here she is, when pushed into the fact that she's going to destroy his relationship with Chizuru, she can't do it. So, but what Ruka doesn't realize is that in doing what she did something almost as bad. But she doesn't realize she did. She's not equating these two things equally, where she doesn't want to trample over Kazuya's feelings, not realizing she literally trampled over his feelings when she was on top of him like that. She completely destroyed how he felt because she doesn't process what that actually means. So here, when it comes to the relationship, right? So she thinks what she did doesn't trample over the relationship, right? She thinks what she did doesn't trample over the relationship. So she doesn't process doing it directly. Here, right? She's about to do it. She hesitates. She thinks of what Kazuya says. Yeah, I want to do it with Chizuru. And then she remembers just date her. Okay. So Chizuru had sympathy for you. Chizuru pushed him to date you. Nagomi treated you kindly. All these people treated you kindly, and you're just going to trample all over that? So suddenly, you're getting a new, different perspective of Ruka. She can't just trample over their feelings. In contrast, when she's doing the thing with Kazuya, where she's literally on top of him, she's literally trampling over his feelings. So you're literally getting this dichotomy. You're getting this dichotomy of Ruka's character, where on one hand, she will absolutely trample over Kazuya's feelings when her feelings and her lust is too great and she can't control herself and she thinks she really wants this. On the other hand, when she's a little bit more in control of herself and she's a little bit more rational and she's actually processing what her action means, like when Ruka understands what her action means, she can't do it. But when Ruka doesn't understand what her action means, she does do it. This is the difference between those two scenes. The scene where Ruka is assaulting Kazuya, she doesn't really fully process what the fuck she's doing. The scene where she's about to trample over Kazuya's feelings, Chizuru's feelings, Nagomi's feelings, she can't do it. She doesn't have it in her. Because she actually understands what that means. And yet again, Ruka finds herself stuck. And again, you're presented a different perspective. So first, you see her from this perspective. You see her from the front. You see her emotions. You see her confusion. You hear all of Ruka's emotions and feelings. And now you see Ruka's back, right? You see her frustration. So first you feel her overwhelming feelings that are growing nonstop, and now you see her inability to address and deal with these feelings. And she screams aloud now. Before, you hear her thoughts, now you hear her screaming aloud. Sheesh, what am I supposed to do? And this guy who comes in just randomly sees this completely out of context and doesn't understand. Just as when you look at this chapter and you look at what you just experienced out of context, you won't understand. When you look at what Kazuya and Ruka just went through, if you look at it out of context, theoretically you won't think it's sexual assault. You might think it's something else. When you see Ruka's thoughts out of context, maybe you think she's in the right. Maybe you think she's cute. But you don't understand what cute is, right? This guy says, hey, you're cute, as an almost mirror to Ruka thinking Kazuya was cute. She doesn't have context for what Kazuya is feeling, just as this guy has absolutely no context for what Ruka is feeling, and he's just saying you're cute. He's just looking at the surface. He's not actually seeing what that person was experiencing, just as Ruka was not actually seeing what Kazuya was experiencing. We have this cut. A blank panel is mainly used to symbolize the passage of time. It may lack detail, but it allows the previous panel to provide a strong impact. So he's talking about this. This strong panel has a stronger impact because you have this white panel here, and Reiji's like spelling it out for you. Suddenly, it's the next day, and we're at Kazuya's karaoke place. Now you have contrast. Again, we shift from Ruka's perspective to Kazuya's perspective. Kazuya remembers that instance, and he has a completely different feeling. He literally has the same exact flashback as Ruka, right? Same exact flashback as Ruka, but whereas Ruka was thinking he's cute, he's so adorable, all that stuff, Kazuya is thinking something completely different. Seriously, what am I doing at a time like this? Regardless of my lack of experience and that Ruka-chan was in full gear, I was so close to becoming a couple with Mizuhara. This is ruining everything. This is the fucking worst. He's struggling. He's cleaning. He's trying to wipe away the tambourine. So as if to, like, literally, he's still in that moment and he's trying to wipe it away. Whereas Ruka can't wipe it away, can't get rid of it. Then Kazuya starts delving into his perspective. Still, I get it. She said that all her friends are doing it. After being together for a year and a half, even if it's a trial, of course you start worrying about being left out. Ruka, when thinking, never mentions being left out. So when she was saying it to Kazuya, was she saying it because this was actually important, or was it an excuse? I argue it's both. Ruka's whole thing is being left out, while at the same time, she was also kind of using it as an excuse that she was being left out. So Kazuya's interpretation of events are not the same as Ruka. You're literally seeing contrasting perspectives. She might not connect with others, right? She might have a hard time connecting to other people because they have these experiences and she doesn't. What he doesn't realize is he's quite literally describing her backstory. What is Ruka's backstory? Other people are having experiences that she's not having, right? When they ride a roller coaster, their heart beats like crazy. They feel a lot of emotions, but she doesn't feel that. She feels singled out, like she's a robot. And yet, again, what were people describing Ruka like when she was doing everything that she was doing? It was almost robotic. So that is relevant. She was trying to have this experience to, in some ways, have this thing she should have. She says she's ready for sex, but she's not. She doesn't know what she's talking about. In the first place, this relationship has its limits. This situation feels endless. Kazuya feels trapped, like he can't escape. He talks about limits, but also how something is endless. Literally contrasting thoughts. Something being limited means it'll end. It has a limit, it can't go past that limit. Something being endless means it doesn't end. So he's literally trapped between the limits of the relationship and the endless loop that it creates. And he's isolated in that feeling of, I'm trapped in this. I don't think telling her about my relationship with Mizuhara would be good for anyone at this point, about living together and our dates. Even if I did, Ruka-chan probably wouldn't accept the situation. He's kind of right. Ruka wouldn't. Clearly she doesn't, because you see it right here. She's not accepting of what she said. She's not accepting of what Kazuya said. But he doesn't know how she would react. And Kazuya knows he needs to talk to her. So this is what that's conveying in this scene. Kazuya is realizing, okay, I need to say something to her, but I can't say that. That wouldn't resolve the situation. If anything, that might make everything worse. And what's interesting, too, is notice how Kazuya isn't even thinking about Chizuru's play anymore, right? Before, Kazuya was like thinking about Chizuru's play and how to like keep that in order and how to not get in the way of Chizuru and all that. Now, it is solely about him. When all the chips are down, it's not about Chizuru anymore. It's about Chizuru hating him. It's about keeping Ruka in check. It loops back to seemingly the beginning of the series, right? What was the beginning of the series? I don't want Chizuru to hate me. I don't want this. I don't want that. There's no selflessness anymore. It's just about his feelings. Because suddenly, that facade of his selfless pursuit of trying to make Chizuru like him, turns out it's not selfless. It's completely selfish. Because everything Kazuya has been doing has been selfish. This is an important part of the self-discovery step in the coming-of-age journey. Because that step, in particular, is about coming to terms with yourself. Coming to terms with who you are and accepting that and choosing who you want to be. Kazuya has been in complete denial of who he is. He is denying who he is. He's in complete denial of who he is. So he has not reached that step of self-acceptance and in turn self-discovery. He's not accepting and understanding himself. He's not looking at himself clearly. She said she was okay with being second, so I don't think she's going to tell Mizuhara right away about what happened. I mean, if I could become a couple with Mizuhara and have Ruka-chan give up, that'd be for the best, but you're not getting that easy solution, right? Even now, he's still thinking about easy solutions. And he knows there's this impending thing slowly coming towards him, but he doesn't know how to deal with it, and he's not prepared for it, and he keeps going back to that safety net, right? Kazuya keeps going back to that safety net. This would be for the best. I wish this would happen. But at the same time, he's just like, oh, well, she's not going to do it right away, so I don't have to do something right now. But man, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then he's like, besides, the next time I see Mizuhara, I don't even know how I'm supposed to face her. Okay. He's thinking about facing Chizuru. Ruka's going to walk through that fucking door, and he's not even thinking about how he's going to face her. And how he's going to react to her, how he's going to feel about her. Because he's not thinking about that, suddenly all these feelings overwhelm him. I think people don't realize the point of Kazuya feeling this like lust towards Ruka here. A huge part of it stems from the fact that Kazuya wasn't even going to process how he's going to react to seeing her. So naturally, when she shows up, he's not emotionally prepared for it, and his emotions explode because she suddenly looks different. Seriously, this guilt is unbearable. It's all because I'm a virgin, right? He blames himself for being a virgin, and that this guilt is unbearable. Since spoilers are already out, does that mean chapter will drop early? No, that doesn't happen. Why? No, it's coming out on Tuesday. Also, please do not mention spoilers here. That's fine. But just don't actually talk about the literal spoilers. But no, chapters still coming out on Tuesday. There's no early releases. That's not a thing. They only do that for like the big shonens where someone like gets the scans early or some shit, like for One Piece and stuff. But even then, I'm not rating the spoilers. I'm not. If the chapter somehow releases early, I'm not rating that. And no, that doesn't happen. That used to happen a long time ago, like early 100s, 200s, because we didn't have official scans. Back then, we didn't have official scans, so the scantilators would release the chapter early because other people would release the chapter early and they wouldn't translate it properly. So people would get like misinterpretations of what was going on. So back then, so for example, if you look up the scantilated versions, like the early versions of the manga, sometimes you'll get chapters that look really ugly, and that's because they were early releases. Because Manga Dex no longer has Rent a Girlfriend, they don't have the clean versions anymore. I have all the clean versions personally, but you might not be able to find all of them. But yeah, let's see here. So yeah, he's like, seriously, this guilt is unbearable. It's all because I am a virgin. So he blames this on this thing that is often stigmatized, being a virgin. And he's blaming himself. This guilt is unbearable. He feels this deep guilt towards Chizuru, and he feels like he can't talk to her. That's Kazuya's journey, essentially. Being willing to talk to Chizuru. This is Kazuya's journey. The thing all of us have wanted for a very long time. This is this journey. This is what this is. All of this happened. This entire false hero's journey, this entire bullshit. What was it all founded on? Kazuya not talking to Chizuru. Many talking to Chizuru. Many telling Kazuya a whole bunch of bullshit. And what did Umi do? When Chizuru rejected Umi, and Umi called Kazuya, what did it do? It resulted in Kazuya going to actually talk to Chizuru. Now, Umi suddenly shows up again, and who's Kazuya not talking to? Right? Who's the person Kazuya is not talking to? Ruka. I wonder if Umi might get Kazuya and Ruka to actually have a real fucking conversation. Which would be really, really interesting. Right? It would be really, really interesting if instead of Umi pushing Kazuya to talk to Chizuru, maybe he talks to Ruka, and that would be Kazuya's step one to actually talking to Chizuru, because talking to Ruka means talking to himself. It means confronting himself. So Kazuya actually talking to Ruka might be what Umi triggers. So, door opens, jingle jingle. Hey, look, it's Ruka. It's the one person you weren't ready to talk to. She comes in, she comes off as very mature. Kazuya's thrown off, right? He's already a little, oh, shit, Ruka's here, right? Shit, Ruka's here. He's already not prepared for it. But then when she addresses him, his entire demeanor falls apart, right? He's still someone in control here. The moment she addresses him, his entire demeanor falls apart. I forgot you had evening shift. Hey. She starts walking in. Tap, tap, tap. Right? She's just being normal. And I love the way when she comes in here. Look at... This is like JoJo shit. This is like JoJo shit. Look at this. Like, bro. We gotta look at the Japanese version. This is some JoJo ominous shit. Like... Look at this. It's literally that. It's literally like boom, 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 boom. It's literally the fucking JoJo shit. As she slowly walks through the door and it zooms in, you're like, what the fuck? This must be the power of an enemy stand. Like literally, this is the vibe it gives you. You're like, what the fuck? Dump, 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 dump. what? What is this feeling? It's so strange. She's hardly showing any skin, and yet it makes such a big difference. Why? What's going on? And it's because he had that experience with her, right? He's having that clash where he had that sexual experience with Ruka, and so naturally he's a lot more aware of her. He's significantly more aware of her. So the fact that she looks different adds to that. That Kazuya is like far more aware of Ruka, and he's not fully like processing what just happened between them, and his body is like a lot more conscious of her because of what just happened, and because he's in denial of that, it explodes out, and that's why he's like, wait, she looks so seductive. It's kind of sexy. What the fuck? What? Right? He's losing control. This is the point of this scene. Kazuya is losing control of himself because he's not being honest with himself, right? It's the baby making genes. Can we not? Can we? That's well, yes and no. Yes and no. It's the fact that he's not being honest with himself. Yeah, of course you're gonna feel sexual desire, but when you deny it, because Kazuya really wants to deny what happened. And pay very close attention to what Kazuya is doing for that entire time. Where are Kazuya's hands? He keeps cleaning. He keeps trying to wipe away the stain, trying to forget. And his body's like, I'm not going to let you forget. His body refuses to let him forget while he keeps trying to clean away, keep pretending like it didn't happen. So it's not that Ruka looking different is what triggered this, right? That is a part of it. I don't think that's a full truth. Could Kazuya be starting to fall in love with Ruka? No. No, it's lust. This is lust. There's a difference. You should look up the difference between lust and love. It is not the same thing. There are two sides of the same coin, but they are not the same thing. You deny one, you deny the other. Okay? So this is in part because of how Ruka is dressed, and she's trying to look mature, and she's trying to give off this impression that she's all grown up. Compared to yesterday, it's as if she's a totally different person. What kind of phenomenon is this? What is happening? So Ruka being a different person is kind of important because that's kind of the theme of this whole chapter. A completely different person. Ruka in her head is not the same person we were listening to when it was happening. Ruka is not the same person we see here as the person we see here. She's acting different. She's presenting herself as different. She looks different. This doesn't look like normal Ruka. This looks like a different person. She literally does look like a different person. She acts like a different person. She's acting like Chizuru. She's acting all mature and under control. So it's literally her demeanor, her clothing, how she's presenting herself. She literally does look like a different person because she's emulating someone else. But at the same time, there's the internal different person in Kazuya, where Kazuya is now viewing Ruka differently because of the experience he just had with her. So naturally, she looks different. It's the moment after, right? After you have sexual relations with someone, they suddenly look kind of different. That's what this is actually. So you're led to believe under the illusion that Ruka looks and acts different, therefore Kazuya is viewing her differently. In reality, it's the moment after scene, right? Whether it be after you had a bad sexual relationship or a good sexual a bad sexual experience or a good sexual experience, the person suddenly starts looking different. And Ruka being dressed differently merely adds to that. It is not the source. Ruka doesn't realize she's already getting that reaction from him, but not because she's dressed differently. Plus, this is super awkward. It is awkward. You're not wearing your ribbon today, huh? Right? He makes small talk. I told you, didn't I? I'm all grown up. She closes her eyes. She's pretending. She's saying she's all grown up. She's not grown up. Even she knows she's not grown up, right? She wants to deny the fact that the ribbon is a part of her. She's lying to herself about the ribbon, that it is a part of her that she wants to get rid of. You did, right? He's looking away. He's fake whistling. He's failing to whistle. And Ruka's like, why is he not looking at me? I want him to look at me. The whole point was for him to look at me. Not realizing he was literally looking at her. But she's annoyed he's turning away. And she can tell he's pretending to not look at her and trying to face away. And she doesn't like that. So she gets pouty, right? She's like, oh, why is he not looking at me? I put all this effort in and he's not looking at me, even though he was earlier. Not understanding that what's happening here is that Ruka is trying to be like a normal girl now. Not realizing she can't go back to normal. That's not gonna happen. So she tries to ease tensions so things go back to normal. So he'll look at her again because she wants to be seen. That's what this whole sequence is about. Ruka wishes to be seen, to be understood, to be accepted, to feel like he sees who she is. That's what Ruka's trying to do here, but she's presenting it as with this new look. But this new look is a lie. So isn't that ironic? She wishes to be seen for who she is, yet she puts on a false look that's not herself. So naturally, he doesn't look. It's a paradox. Kazuya looks at her. He's like, what? Grabs his arm, so he will look, right? He has to look if she grabs him. I don't know what that kind of thing yesterday means to a man, but I'm going to carry on as usual, as if nothing happened, right? She holds on because she doesn't want to let go. She wants to carry on as things were before, acting like this wasn't serious, but it was serious. Again, paradox, paradox, paradox. But couldn't it be the crossing her mind the possibility of falling in love with two women in Kazuya's fantasy and he's fighting against the fantasy? No. No. It's not about falling in love. Kazuya knows for a fact he loves Chizuru. He's having a clash of lust and love, but he knows he loves Chizuru. What Kazuya doesn't know is himself. You're absolutely... I'm going to go on a wild limb and say you probably read the spoilers, and that's where you're getting this from. I'm going to go on a wild limb and say you probably read the spoilers, and because of how they frame the spoilers in a very particular way, you misattributed this understanding that Kazuya is probably thinking this, when in reality, that's not actually what Kazuya is thinking. He's misattributing his own experiences. Because a lot of you guys read stuff at very surface level. You're not understanding what's actually happening. We've already had this whole scene where Kazuya like possibly considered her being a mistress and doubted that stuff. The reintroduction of Umi probably plays perfectly into this, of Kazuya thinking, well, Umi would probably have two girls and he wouldn't mind. Maybe I can too, you know, but it's probably not actually how Kazuya feels and not what Kazuya actually wants. Anyways. Hey, don't cling on to me. Geez, the manager is the only one here. What if someone sees us? We can't let the manager see us either. So Kazuya is even more in denial than he was before. He's trying to shut her out even more, and Ruka doesn't like that even more. Suddenly, a person seeing this who would probably have an impact suddenly shows up. Oh, there you are. Wow, you look good in a tuxedo. Umi shows up. So, from what I understand, Umi might be early. We don't know what time it is. They were supposed to be in at 9 p.m. They were supposed to meet at 9 p.m. So we don't know what time Umi was supposed to actually show up here. How can I be like you when reading manga? Read a lot of stories and learn and watch a whole bunch of analysis channels. Like, learn to analyze everything you're interacting with and see what the writers are trying to say. And the biggest thing I can tell you is pretty simple. Don't ever say and don't ever think it's not that deep, bro. Anyone fucking tells you that, tell them to shut the fuck up. 90% of the fucking time, it is that deep, bro. It is that deep. When they tell you the curtain might mean something, the curtain probably fucking means something. When your fucking English teacher like tells you the blue curtain in the fucking book means something, it probably fucking does. It is that deep, bro. So it's just a matter of just picking a story, delving really deep into it, and just trying to understand what the writer was trying to convey and say. Understand maybe it's a different language, like add certain things to it. It's really just about expanding your repertoire. Understand, I don't just read Rent-A-Girlfriend. My strength of understanding Rent-A-Girlfriend as a series stems a huge part from all the other shows, movies, anime, manga, all books. I've read books, I've played video games, I've watched movies, TV shows. Expand your repertoire. Expand your repertoire a lot. Read more things. Don't just read manga. Do not just read manga. That is a fucking mistake. Don't just read other manga and think you understand stories. No. Expand your repertoire. Watch TV shows. Watch movies. Play video games. Read books. Expand your fucking repertoire. Because the more you interact with, the more you will learn. I read light novels. Okay, read light novels too. I actually don't like light novels very much personally. Like, the few I have, which two do I have? I have ReZero, and I have Snafu or Origairu. Wasn't a big fan of either. Sorry. Like, I like watching ReZero. ReZero is a fun series to watch. I don't like reading it. I read Origairu a little bit. I have 3 volumes. I kind of don't fucking care. I realized I don't like Origairu. I'm sorry. I found it like way overthinking and far too pretentious. Like, it's like a story that's like trying too fucking hard. So like when I initially got into Origairu and Snafu, I'm like, oh, this series is great. Now that I'm older and I tried like rewatching it and like rereading it, I'm like, man, you're overcomplicating this, dude. You're overcomplicating the shit out of this. Like, it's like stuff you don't need to overcomplicate. And the kid is just like saying a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo to this guy's like what he fucking wants. I don't know. I'm not like, just so you know, Origairu used to be higher in the list. It dropped way more. I don't really have many light novels. I don't really like light novels a lot, to be honest. I do read books. I do read some books here and there, but like I read the entire like the last thing I read was the entire Percy Jackson series, and then its sequel series. I forgot what it was called, like something Olympians. That was a fun series to read. The new TV show on Disney Plus sucks ass though. I fucking hate it. It sucks ass. Do you read heavy novels? What is that a thing? Heavy novels? I have Jobless and Jobless Reincarnation and Spider, so both are really good. I like watching Jobless Reincarnation. I'm not really like, I don't really want to read it. And I think I just understand, like, I watch it as a sort of kind of experience like that everybody else is experiencing. That's kind of like the same feeling I had when I was watching Solo Leveling. I'm like, Solo Leveling isn't like the best written thing in the fucking universe, but it's like a fun experience to have with other people to watch. Jobless is kind of similar, even though it's better written, of course. But I really don't like Rudy. I hate Rudy a little too much. that I cannot like fully appreciate Jobless Reincarnation, which is why I'm not gonna read it. Like just as a form of respect to that story, I'm choosing not to read it so I don't hate it more. I enjoy just watching it because that's a fun experience to interact with. Hey, so correct me if I'm wrong. Kazuya thinks Umi is superior, but Umi thinks Kazuya is superior. So if we take Umi at his word, yes. If we take Umi at his word, yes. He is envious and he actually respects Kazuya. So that if we genuinely believe what Umi is saying, yes. I say it's a distraction type of thing, Solo Leveling. Solo Leveling is a very fun series to read because it is like the epitome of a power fantasy. So if you just want like a very solid power fantasy until near the very end, the end kind of sucks ass. A huge portion of Solo Leveling is just a very good power fantasy. It's just very engaging, it has good world building. It genuinely was interesting for a good while. Look up It, 1000 pages. Dude, I know about It. Are you fucking... I've read Stephen King. I've read The Dark Tower. I know Stephen King. I'm not fucking stupid. God damn it. He also draws weird shit I don't like. Or sorry, he writes weird shit I don't like. There are parts of Stephen King's writing that I'm just not a big fan of. I'm just like, did you need to draw it like that? Did you need to draw that? Have you ever seen Lovely Complex? Fantastic fucking series. Lovely Complex is great. It is like it is really up there for me. So let me pull that up. Okay. If I can make you a recommendation, read Lovely Complex or watch Lovely Complex. Fucking amazing. Love it. It is so good. I haven't rewatched it recently. There's some parts of it that didn't age well, but I think one of the things I really love about watching the anime is how they all have accents. Like they all speak with like dialects. Sorry, they speak with like dialects from the area that they're in, and that's all in their language, and that's so fucking cool. Like it's like little subtle details you wouldn't see. And it's just a really cute relationship. The whole dynamic of this relationship is like he's really short, she's really tall, and you know they go from like it's just a really cute dynamic. He also has like the ego of a man who's much taller than he is, and it's kind of cute like seeing them have this like interesting relationship. One of the best shows. It's really fucking good. I really like it. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I really, really do like it. So yeah, Umi shows up, and Umi is the introduction of another clash. Someone mentioned how Umi has like a pattern or like a camo on here, and I thought that was interesting, but I don't know if this is like straight up camo because we don't see the full clothing, you know. And again, Umi's bangs cover his eyes. Dude needs a fucking haircut. Dude needs a fucking haircut. Yeah, his eyes like cover his face. And again, you don't see the full picture with Umi. You are presented like there's a difference between Umi and Ruka. You are presented the full picture with Ruka. You are not presented the full picture with Umi. Umi shows a lot more skin than Ruka, and yet you understand Ruka better. Right? Umi looks a lot more vulnerable than Ruka, and yet you understand Ruka much better, and it's because Umi like leaves himself like vulnerable and open in front of in plain view, but he's not. Umi can't drive with that hair. Hell no. I watched Lovely Complex recently. It's good, but not great. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really good show. I really loved it. I think near the end it had some it stumbled a little bit near the end. That I do remember. It definitely stumbled a little bit near the end. It fell into some like very familiar traps, but overall it was still a very good show. So yeah, let's see. I did write one thing here. Let's see what I wrote. This isn't a game, but Kazuya isn't taking this seriously enough, nor is Ruka aware of the true gravity of her actions. They're acting like they did at the start of the series, like it's another day, like they can just shrug it off, but they can't. Just as the last chapter of 2025 ended with no resolution but rather the introduction of conflict, 407 begins the year by introducing internal conflict and external conformity. However, the conformity is quickly shattering with the weight of the adult world around them, and nothing better reflects that than the arrival of Umi. Ironic, considering he appears to be a character that plays games, yet has a serious side that evokes making adult choices, a side Kazuya has not really seen yet. The childhood represented in Ruka that Kazuya did not plan for is pulling him back to what once was, an old safety he must let go of because it is in fact far more dangerous than it appears. In contrast, adulthood, represented through Umi, is something he himself invited in. He cannot run from Umi. He is here all the same. And this puts Kazuya in a position where he must choose where he must make a choice as well as creating a clash between childhood and adulthood. Ruka offers up hollow change, represented through her ribbon being gone and her declaring she is an adult now. This mirrors Kazuya's own hollow change, changing his hair, pretending he is an adult when he is in fact in his underwear underneath the suit. So what I'm referring to is when Kazuya changed his hair and acted like he's all an adult now and he has his shit together, he gets home, his room is a mess, and he takes this interview in his room in his undies. He's not really taking this seriously, right? He's not really serious about this. He just wants Chizuru to like him, right? He's literally still in his goddamn undies. He's not actually fully serious. Okay. Let's see. Umi, in contrast, is real change. When Umi called, it resulted in Kazuya talking to Chizuru. Umi only called as a byproduct of Umi only called Kazuya as a byproduct of real change that Chizuru created. Unlike Ruka, Umi was rejected and then called Kazuya right after. Not before, and not necessarily out of some petty play. In fact, Umi does not demand Kazuya's time. Rather, he checks if Kazuya has time open for him. Ruka, from the moment she called Kazuya, demanded to have the 3rd of June designated for her. And now it is the 4th, Chizuru's number. And the number for death, aka the death of innocence and the beginning of maturity. Umi signals real change. For all his presence in the past has brought is real change. A real rejection by Chizuru, a real conversation between Kazuya and Chizuru, a real date in chapter 290 where they really got to know and trust each other. And in the Tiger's Den, Kazuya figured out his feelings for Chizuru, or the fog of his feelings cleared. So, to me, this being the 4th, right? It's literally the fucking 4th. It's signaling a form of death. There is a death and rebirth that is about to occur here. This day, these events are really fucking important. So what's about to happen here is gonna be big. It may not look it by next chapter. Maybe next chapter it'll just be the start. I think next chapter is gonna have a big cliffhanger because it's chapter 408 and it's the last chapter of the volume. So there's gonna be a big cliffhanger of some sorts. There's going to be some sort of cliffhanger. Umi's going to say something. Ruka might overhear something. Something may start. Maybe Ruka could get upset at Kazuya for something. Maybe Kazuya will just say we're just friends and he'll get upset at her or something. She'll get upset at him or something. So we don't quite know. There's stuff a-brewing. What do you think of Hell's Paradise? To me, I like the action it got. Which one was Hell's Paradise again? I just gotta double check. Oh yeah, I liked Hell's Paradise. Yeah, I liked Hell's Paradise. I heard the dude was an an editor for someone. I think it's like he was like an editor for Attack on Titan. But yeah, this dude, I liked it. I thought it had some really good themes. I like the idea of it. I really love the visuals. I love the visuals and the idea of that world. It reminded me of something, but I can't remember specifically what it reminded me of. But there was something kind of special about Hell's Paradise. Most people just said it's like a good action. I think there's a little bit more to Hell's Paradise than just good action. There is something very special about its art and its world and its themes. It's to me, this is kind of like a special series. Like I just watched the anime. I didn't really fully finish it. And of course, people were like horny over that one chick who's like the ninja with like fucking weird goopy powers. People are still like fucking horny over her. But I liked it for the most part. Let's see. Umi can't drive with that hair. You hear Kaguya is getting an anime original ending movie. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I heard people are really not happy with them like skipping what most people consider to be like the best arc in the series. From what I heard. Cause I don't know much about Kaguya, like in terms of the manga. I just know people don't like the ending. I just know like people don't like the final arc and the ending, which is a repeating motif you'll see a lot with Aka. Like Aka Akasaka has this like issue where his endings and the final arcs of his mangas just always feel like not great. And it's like it's really weird. Aka is like really good at execution, but kind of sucks at sticking the landing. Like and it's like literally like when I found out the ending of Oshinoko, I'm just like, that's such a terrible fucking message. That's such a like, I get it. It's the hero's journey for the main girl. What's her name? Ruby, but it's just fucked. Like, what kind of fucking message is that? That was just dumb. Like, I just didn't like it. It almost felt like it was romanticizing death. Similar to how like 13 Reasons Why was romanticizing death. And I was just like, ugh. Ugh. And then I don't know specifically how Kaguya ends. I just know there's like this entire arc where it turns almost like it's trying to take itself seriously, but it's like not landing. Just from how people told me. Like it's trying to take itself like really seriously and it's not landing. And I kind of felt that with the movie. They I don't know if it's like season 4 or like the movie, but it's like where it's like after season 3 where Kaguya is like being really weird towards Miyuki, and then they make up after. And literally most of that movie I did not fucking like it. I thought that movie was dumb as shit. And then I got to the end portion where they finally talk again, and I'm like, oh, this is actually nice. Like most of that arc, I was just like, this is really fucking dumb. And then they get to that final portion, and I'm like, okay, that kind of like makes most of the movie a little better, but it doesn't change the fact that my experience with the movie just felt like really fucking stupid for like most of it. And then just the very end where they have this like serious emotional talk where I kind of started to appreciate it some more. That's where I think like to me Kaguya really stumbles, where it's like it doesn't know. Kaguya Aka Akasaka is a writer that's really good at like making fun of tropes, but then when it actually comes to writing the thing, he struggles a lot, because when you're writing, you do eventually have to use the trope, you know? And it's like every good story uses tropes. And you just have to know how to utilize them. And it feels like Aka is just really good at criticizing and making fun of tropes, but he's not really great at like writing, like actually using the trope and like being confident in that. Like for instance, there was like someone in chat before, he was like dick riding the shit out of Expedition 33. Expedition 33 in some ways is very, very innovative, while at the same time, it like even from a storytelling perspective, it literally uses the hero's journey. Like straight up, it uses the hero's journey as a part of its writing motif and actively subverts the hero's journey. in a very unique and interesting way. It has like a dual narrative with the hero's journey. And so basically they understand the writing structure and they know how to utilize it to subvert expectations. I think Akasaka is really good at making fun of tropes, but not really good at actually like knowing how to use them. He's like a critic. And he is writing, so it's like I can't really like fully say he's not a writer. He is writing, and there's a lot of stuff that he has that lands, but there's a lot of stuff that he has that just doesn't land, and it's really weird for me. Let's see. Bacon, you watch the same anime over and over because you don't like new stuff that isn't finished, and you drop everything after episode 1. Then you complain that there's no anime to watch. Bro, that reminds me of like when people like, they're like, oh, there's no good games anymore. I'm like, shut the fuck up. There's so many great games. Y'all are just dumb as shit. There's so many great fucking games, and y'all just like look at fucking shooters and none of them are interesting to you. Okay. Yeah, so the last thing I want to say is I wanted to essentially call this like the spiral of grief for when it comes to what's going on with the characters, because as I explained, Ruka already took like steps of grief where she's in denial, she went through bargaining, she went through anger, and then you literally see the spiral on Kazuya's shirt. And it's literally they're experiencing the spiral and the loop of grief where grief is both a cycle and a spiral, where you're spiraling downwards, but you're essentially looping backwards if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know how to like cope with your issues correctly. I'm autistic, give me a break. Oh, shut up. I'm part autistic. Shut the fuck up. I have a bit of autism too. And I'm not fucking using it as an excuse. I know autistic friends. Or they say we're on the spectrum now. All right, so 31 votes. We ended up doing both, so it didn't really fucking matter. We started with the false hero's journey with Kazuya, and we went to and I'm on the spectrum. Your point, Bacon. Anyways, yeah. So I think we'll stop at 2 hours today. We won't go for too long. I think so I have an order I need to finish, so I'm gonna focus on that. And then I will also try to write on Twitter tomorrow. I'm gonna try to write on Twitter tomorrow for this chapter and talk about like the whole perspective thing I talked about before. Maybe I might get some new ideas. Whenever I write, I like come up with new ideas. So I'll go from there. So yeah, short stream, just 2 hours, not too long. This was a pretty quick stream today. We didn't do too much. I kind of want to stop early. I don't want to like stay the entire time. Imagine we all think Ruka's going to go to the hospital because of her heart thing instead of just Kazuya passing out. Wait, what? I mean, we were kind of somewhat talking about that yesterday, where it's like Ruka's clearly like overwhelmed, like physically overwhelmed by what she's doing. It's clearly taking a toll on her. And I think Reiji is like trying to discuss that reality. Like I think that's a part of Ruka's journey as a character, is like her death of innocence is her coming to terms with the fact that her parents were kind of fucking right. Right? Her parents were kind of right. Like, hey, you're doing better, but you still need to like accept the fact that you are a little different, and that you got to be more mindful of your heart condition and not keep overwhelming your body, because that's not fucking good for you. It's not that you can't have these experiences, you just don't fucking overwhelm your body. Weird question. Peppercini or popcorn to go with anime tonight? Wait, what? Ugh. Wait, is that what you were? No, that's not what you were talking about. Is this what you wanted to eat? Oh, wait. I'm not showing it. Wait, is this what you wanted to eat with your anime? Or is it something else? Am I mixing my stuff up? I would say popcorn. I just don't know what the other thing is. This isn't what you're... if you want to eat this, man, good for you. I'm not eating that. I'm probably eating some popcorn. I think Umi's gonna be actually chill about it, throw everyone off, but then he's gonna do the right thing. It creates the different problem for Kazuya. But pretty much, Umi is chill, but introduces the necessary problems that needs conflict. It's like a banana pepper. I know that, and I hate it. Those are the peppers Papa John's gives you, dude. I used to like Papa John's, but I haven't eaten it in a very, 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 very long time. It didn't help that the main dude was like fucking racist or some shit. Anyways, yeah, I think Umi's gonna surprise us. I've been saying this for a while. Umi's gonna surprise us, but he's gonna introduce the necessary conflict. He is the necessary conflict. That is what Umi is. He is the necessary conflict, and that's what he will be. He will introduce the necessary conflict, and I think there's a very real chance he'll introduce like that element of the death of innocence for a character like Ruka. Anywho, that's it for today. I'm gonna call it for tonight. Probably gonna go chill, play some video games, and then get ready for bed because I gotta get up early tomorrow as usual. And then tomorrow I'll probably focus. Can you show us your collection of what? Be more specific of what? Like the stuff back there? Because it's not that organized at the moment. It's a little messy. Rent a girlfriend. Here, I'll do it in the future. But because I gotta still organize some stuff. I still have a lot of stuff that's like unorganized. Should Rent a Girlfriend do a time skip? No. Time skips are not effective. And I think at this point, a time skip is a very bad idea. At this point within the narrative, a time skip is a bad idea. No, I think Reishi's doing a good job pacing it. A time skip would not do very good right now. Because heart rate 97 BPM was roughly a little above average. Yeah. And she thinks 100 will be some magical change when it won't be. It's the illusion of change. So she's going to have to come to terms with the real change that she actually needs to be addressing, which is not that. She's trying really hard to be normal. When that's not like, you know, what she needs. Reiji does a pregnancy arc. I mean, maybe with Chizuru, sure. Like when Kazuya and Chizuru are together. Like when Kazuya and Chizuru are together, sure. But like it'll be, I think if Reiji actually does pregnancy, it'll be like a good thing. It'll just be Kazuya and Chizuru struggling to be parents and shit, and Kazuya like struggling to be helpful to his partner and shit. He won't make it weird. Like he'll make it a little weird. He'll make some jokes about it. 100 BPM is just at the top of average. Lol. Again, Ruka is trying really hard to be normal. And that is the mistake. I honestly want to see how far we see Kazuya and Chizuru's relationship. I really hope, like, okay, I feel like Reiji is actually going to portray it. I feel like Reiji's actually going to portray them together, which would be awesome. Like, I genuinely believe it. But we will see. You know, like, you could always hold on to that doubt that maybe he won't do it. I think he will. But we'll see. Anywho. Oh no, Kazuya is gonna have a big family. Random plot twist: Kazuya's mom gets pregnant. Well, that would be weird and random. That would be quite weird. Is Reiji's other anime as good as Rental Girlfriend? It depends. I think it's really interesting. It has gained a few bit of popularity. It's a little bit more. It's so Shiunji family presents itself as more generic, um, but it's not. It's a story that presents itself as incredibly generic when it's not. Uh, and right now, like it's having its own version of like the the characters having their own coming of age narrative where they have to grow up and like confront the adult world. And it's very much doing that right now. So I don't know. You'll have to decide for yourself because some people who read it just thought it wasn't that interesting. I thought it was really interesting. Like I want to delve into it more, but unfortunately, I barely have the time for this sometimes, So it's kind of hard to delve into that too. Either way, like I think the biggest thing I gotta really start doing is I need to start making more money off YouTube and streaming. I really need to start making more money off this stuff because I'm not. Unfortunately, our economy is fucking shit show. So I need to start making like more money. I'm like saving up for my work more and shit. But I also need to find ways to make more money off of this stuff so I can keep doing it, you know? And I think that's going to require making videos, like proper videos. I don't think streaming is enough. Yeah. We all need more money. I mean true, but like if I want to like keep doing this without feeling overwhelmed. It reminds me of Quintessential Quintuplets if you've seen it. It feels like it's a nod to Quintessential Quintuplets by design because it is a harem. Well, your videos are pretty good, I'll say. Thanks. I just have to put more effort into actually making videos. And like we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, Shiunji family is very much a nod to Quintessential Quintuplets because it is criticizing harems. It is criticizing the idea of a harem, like by straight up being a harem. But also like framing it in a way that's like, morally gray because they're all like siblings, even though they're not blood related. It's still very much tackles that morally gray nature of incest. Because, oh yeah, they're not blood related, so they can just get together now. And it's like, no, I fucking grew up with them. Don't be weird. And that's kind of the entire conflict for the main character, Arata, where it's like everyone's like trying to fucking ship him with his sisters, and he's like, but that's fucking weird. When we introduce gaming streams starting with Kingdom Hearts, we should get more revenue. Hopefully. The biggest thing is like I don't know how to. I can try setting up my PS5 here to play on my PC, but I don't know if my old capture card will work because my capture card's like old as shit, and I don't know if it'll still work. I can try. So my two options are somehow get the capture card to work for my PS5 or get Kingdom Hearts on PC. Get Kingdom Hearts on PC, but I don't have the money for that right now. Nor is it on sale. Here, let me check how much it is. It was on sale a while back, but it's not on sale right now. Kingdom Hearts. $49.99, $59.99, $59.99. Ooh. Kingdom Hearts series. You can get like all of them together, right? Oh, that's cool. That's actually kind of that's actually kind of a discount. So you can get all of them for $99.99, but each one is like $59.99, so it's like 66. Yeah, you save a lot by getting all of them. But I'm just not going to spend all of that right now. That's a lot of money. I'm not dropping 100 yet. Oh, that's cool. You can get like a Steam one. Dead of Night. I gotta play Kingdom Hearts 3. It's been so long. I have not touched Kingdom Hearts 3 in such a long time. By the way, I've been like going back through the Kingdom Hearts series on my own time. I'm like, damn, this shit kind of aged like fine wine. Hot damn. I think people don't appreciate Kingdom Hearts. I think Kingdom Hearts is like much better than people realize. It's actually really fucking good. Is there anime you're looking forward to 2026? I'm not really like keeping up with a lot of anime at the moment. Like Rent a Girlfriend, of course, season 5, but I'm not really keeping up with a lot of anime. Oh man, season 5 is gonna be weird because we're gonna either episode 2 or episode 1 is chapter 218. Oh man, we're gonna have another blow up. I kind of hope it doesn't blow up. It will, but I kind of hope it doesn't fucking blow up. Fucking chapter 218, baby. Who's ready? Who's ready? I'm gonna be extra seated when you do the entire Resident Evil series before Requiem. We have like a month and a half left. What the fuck are you talking about? We have a month and a half left. What do you mean? I can't do the entire Resident Evil series before Requiem. We have like literally a month and a half left. Do I even own Resident Evil on PC? Let me check. So what's my library? So this is my library on PC. Witcher 2, Undertale, Tekken 7, Sonic Generations, Sonic CD, Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, Slap City, Genesis Collection, Rivals of Ether. Oh, that's a demo. I was wondering. I'm like, I don't own Metaphor. Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Fuck yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Killer Instinct, Hentai Arena Battle Royale. What the fuck? When did I get that? What the fuck? Halo Infinite, Guilty Gear Strive. Oh my god, I haven't touched this. I own Guilty Gear Strive and I haven't touched it. Final Fantasy 15 Windows Edition, Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 11. I'm never playing this, Jesus Christ. Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. I want to play this and I don't because it's a stupid fucking mobile game. Final Fantasy 7, Dissidia NT. Oh, this is the free edition. Deus Ex Machina, Deus Ex The Fall, Deus Ex, Cuphead. Okay, so I don't even own Resident Evil on PC. For a show to get so much hate, a lot of people watch it. I mean, yeah. After 218, it's released in anime. It's just going to piss me off that a lot of people are going to jump the bandwagon to hate on Rent a Girlfriend. They already do it. The bandwagon's already going, dude. The bandwagon's already going. It's just going to be a little louder. Oh, shut up about Final Fantasy VII Remake sucking. It's great. It is amazing. Shut the fuck up. It is actually genuinely good. They're literally rewriting it, and it's actually awesome as fuck. I love what they're doing with Rebirth. It is so cool when you realize what they're cooking. It is so fucking cool when you realize what they're fucking cooking. Like, genuinely, the idea that Cloud is fucking in complete disassociation mode, absolute fucking denial of reality, hell yeah. They are cooking. 16, though. 16 kind of sucked. I liked Clive a lot as a character, but that's kind of it. 16 was like such a mess. And as someone who plays Final Fantasy 14, not anymore. I'm taking a break. I saw a little too much 14 in that game, and I did not like that. I mean, the multiverse garbage. You don't even know what that is. You literally don't even know what that is. You literally don't even know what the multiverse thing is because they've literally said in interviews it's not a multiverse. You think it is. They literally said in interviews and in game, there's literally an NPC that fucking talks about this. It's not actually a multiverse. It's literally the live stream making memories and dreams into reality. See, you say the OG story is better, but as someone who's replayed it recently, there's parts of it that just do not fucking land for me. So, like, I think 7 Remake and Rebirth have like the best characterization in the entire cast, and people don't give them credit for it. The characters are so well realized, it is incredible. It is absolutely incredible how well the characters are realized. As someone who played the original FF7 and then the remake, bro, they did such a good fucking job. And I loved OG FF7. Please understand. I love OG FF7. But goddamn, they understood the fucking mission. Now, there are things I think that didn't land as well, like Dine and the way they rewrote that entire structure of Barrett's story. I didn't like that as much. I felt like how they wrote that in the original was better. So I'll give you that. There are parts in Rebirth that I don't like as much. I felt like Dine was written a little better in the original than he was in the remake. And I think a part of that is definitely censorship. They couldn't show certain things. Is there anyone you know that's also good at analyzing Rent a Girlfriend? On Reddit, sometimes maybe. Not on YouTube. You're not finding that. People don't. Just understand, most anime content creators are not good at analyzing, okay? Like, even I barely watch anime content creators. A lot of them are either incredibly pretentious, act like they know what they're fucking talking about, or just really surface level reviewers. Like, it's so, like, the only one I kind of like watching, and even then, like, he's not exactly perfect, is what's his name? What's his name? Totally Not Mark. I like Totally Not Mark. He's not perfect, but he's a whole lot better than most other people. He's a whole lot better than most other people, dude. Because he actually kind of tries to interact with the fucking story and read and understand writing. But I don't really watch many anime content creators, period. I find their stuff kind of mediocre. Any small predictions for the end of volume chapter 408? Well, the spoilers are already out. I haven't read them, so I wouldn't know, but well, Kazuya and Umi are gonna talk. Umi's gonna say Chizuru-chan. I could see Kazuya being jealous of Umi saying Chizuru-chan, because Kazuya definitely wants to say that. Kazuya's jealousy is gonna be definitely a rooting factor in his conversation with Umi. We might get to find out a little more about what happened between Umi and Chizuru. Maybe like Umi might be straightforward with him. While at the same time, Ruka's definitely going to be involved, and I wonder if she's going to listen in. She might view Umi as some sort of opportunity initially because she knows Umi is like a fellow actor, and Ruka has been wanting some sort of out. So Umi could very well appear like an out to Ruka, like for sure. I definitely think the next chapter is definitely going to present itself as this idea of like, oh look, Umi and Ruka are gonna team up. It's definitely going to present itself as that idea, but it's not. It's not. It's gonna lead you down that path. It's gonna make you think this is what this is. But I don't think it is. I think that's gonna be maybe the cliffhanger that Umi and Ruka are gonna team up. It's definitely gonna try to make you think that, you know. Played FF16, but I'm hesitant to continue because my favorite character is about to die. If you know, you know.
Take the L, bro. When Reiji decides to make Rent a Girlfriend a gacha game, Fate is going to be broke. No, I will never play another gacha game. I refuse. I don't do gachas. I don't care if Rent a Girlfriend gets a gacha game. I'm not playing it. It has a fucking card game, and I'm not buying any of that shit. Because card fucking games are a scam, dude. You think you'll get something related to chapter 179, or are we going to continue the story? Well, chapter 179 is quite relevant. Like, almost every single interaction we've seen with Umi is relevant to a lot of these scenes, and they've all had mysteries. So 179 is totally possible, sure. Even though we somewhat got an answer to that scene. In my personal experience, things have got to get worse before they get better. That's my opinion on how this Ruka situation needs to play out. I mean, I've literally already said this. This is literally the death part of the hero's journey, or the coming of age narrative. This is literally that section. It is literally the death of innocence. It is literally the introduction of conflict and the cruelty, and that is what Umi does. Umi introduces conflict. So naturally, like, and if you don't believe me, this is literally on the 4th. It is the 4th of June in story, because Ruka met Kazuya on the 3rd. It is literally like the day of death. Like, there's too much awareness of what the fuck is going on. You know, I don't think next chapter is going to be necessarily positive. I don't think so. We're definitely hitting a low. The whole point is that we're hitting a low before we can slowly start climbing back up. Rent a Girlfriend dating sim, maybe? I mean, they already kind of did that. They had that like a weird app. I just want another hypertension arc like Hawaiians. When was the last time we were on the edge of our seats? I mean, I don't think we're going to get anything quite like Hawaiians. We're definitely not getting anything quite like Hawaiians. But we're going to get something similar. We're going to get something similar. It's going to be like more of a spread out Hawaiians, but we're not getting anything like Hawaiians. I don't think so. This is definitely a very Kazuya focused arc rather than something like Hawaiians. If anything, think of this as like the inverse of Hawaiians. We're not getting anything like Hawaiians. God, my lips are dry. Okay. I think Ruka's big realization is that Kazuya had no effect on her heart, and all those times were merely circumstantial. I mean, she's not going to realize that right away. That's going to take some time. Anyways, just have an arc where they accidentally forget Minnie is in the United States. Okay then. Okay then. Okay. I think I'm gonna call it here. I'm gonna head to bed. Was there anything else you guys wanted to mention before I end the stream? Seriously, maybe because Kazi's grandma's gonna be extremely overjoyed. Oh, when they get a kid. Come on, last comments. Let's get this through, fellas, so I can go and relax. Go take it easy. Reishi's torturing us on purpose, where my Chizuru-chan at even Sumi will do. Yeah, I mean that's the point of a fucking low. You've literally left the safety of home. As I was explaining, that is part of the character's journey. You have left the safety of home. You are no longer safe, and you must slowly come to realize what you must do, which is become an adult and transition into the adult world. That is part of the coming of age journey. So yes, you no longer have the safety of Chizuru. You no longer have the safety of Sumi. Nobody's here to fucking protect you. Shit's about to get fucking serious. That is by design the fucking point. Okay. Well, I'm gonna call it here. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like button, bell icon, all the fun stuff. Feel free to make some suggestions to me on ways to improve and make some money on this crazy ass app. Alrighty, I'm pretty sure they're gonna make chapter 218 to perfection, and then when it's Kazuya and Chizuru's chapter, Reiji's gonna make it better, lol. Hell yeah, let's go, Reiji. Anyways. Had a cute ending to my FF where Kazuya and Chizuru get married and they do the bouquet toss and Ruka catches leading to Kazuya saying fuck to even Sumi. Say, oh shit. Meh. I think the Gomi should catch it. I think the Gomi should catch it. Anywho, y'all have a good night. See you later. I do think like there's a chance the sex scene might happen in the manga when chapter 218 gets animated. There's a real chance. There is a real chance that Kazuya and Chizuru will have a real sex scene when chapter 218 gets animated, which would be kind of like a cool contrast. Like, oh damn. Hope season 5 gets better animation. There's probably going to be one episode that's well animated, and the rest are just going to be like normal. Or after it, you never know. Well, I think Reiji's going to time it. Okay, that's it. Have a good night, fellas. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.